What's up, everybody? It's Vicious here, and there's Tanuki Tale on the screen. So I'm always jealous of this guy's loadout. He has everything set up the way I wish I had mine set up. But anyway, so he's talking about his impressions, and as you can see, the final verdict with a question mark on it on DNF Duel, and I guess it's just me talking through it because some of the stuff he says, like I just really disagree with. There's some of it that I vaguely agree with, but let's just go through it and let's see what we think.
Why, hello there, everyone. If you watched my impressions video of the previous DNF Duel beta test, then you'll know that even though I was very impressed by the visuals and the music and all that, I was very disappointed in the actual gameplay. So, how does the second beta test compare to the first one? This video is
My guy looks so bored already, and I just can't relate at all. Let's continue.
probably going to be shorter than my last video because there's really not much to say, because the only universal gameplay change that they made is that they increased the movement speed slightly, and even then it's barely noticeable. I don't think I would have even noticed it had they not told us in the patch notes. So they really need to increase the walking and movement speed, the walking and running speed, even more. They need to
Okay, so I agree with this. I agree with this wholeheartedly. The thing is, they said they increased the walking speed, and I kind of felt it, but it wasn't good enough. I need the walking and the running speed to both be faster because as of right now, it feels like you're chugging across the screen. A previous grievance that I had with Grappler, which I've had a complete 180 on, is that Grappler's too slow. He can't run fast enough. Now I'm at the point where it's like, if we have to increase the speed of everybody, I think heavier characters or characters with very heavy playstyles like Grappler and Crusader need to be the slowest characters in the game. And I think that the speed they run and walk at right now, is a good place to start. So everybody else, I think, deserves a speed boost. I think Kunoichi is notably faster. Kunoichi, Striker, and maybe Dragon Knight. I think like the smaller characters are pretty fast, but the medium-sized characters are they all feel the same to me. So I agree with that. But we still have more video to go over.
increase it at least to the point at which it matches up with the character animations, because actually, if you pay attention and look at the characters when they are running, their running animation would imply that they should be moving faster than the speed that they actually are moving. So it's ridiculous. It feels like you're running on ice because you're running faster. It looks like you're running faster than you really are. So an easy universal change they should implement is that they should just crank up the speed even more. I don't know why they were so hesitant in increasing the speed from the last beta to now, because like I said, it's barely noticeable. Anyway, the other two...
I think that that's a completely fair take. Nothing too harsh there. It's something that a human being can definitely feel, for sure. I'm not sure which one of these guys playing is him, if one of them playing is him at all. So, yeah, let's continue.
Two big things that is just completely turning me off from the game is that even though it looks like a crazy hyper anime fighter, underneath the hood, it is the most dry, grounded footsie fighting game ever. And it's because of two big reasons. One, there are 0 grounded overheads in the game. I don't know why. This is literally the only fighting game I can think of that has 0 grounded overheads. So there is literally no overhead/low mix-up. And not only that, but the presence of a block button in the game completely eliminates any possibility for cross-up potential that could otherwise be in the game. And it's weird because Ghostblade was a new character in the second beta test. This beta test had all the same characters as the previous one, but this time it included the Ghostblade. And part of Ghostblade's kit, part of his moveset, allows him to teleport all over the screen, and you can teleport behind your opponent and whatnot. And typically, that would lead to cross-ups in other fighting games. But in this game, even though it seems as if Ghostblade is designed for cross-ups, it just won't work in this game because there's a block button.
I'm just going to cut in right here because if you don't know Tanuki Tale has been playing a lot of King of Fighters, right? As a matter of fact, King of Fighters was the beta that he championed when both King of Fighters and DNFDuel had their first beta. He championed both of them. He championed King of Fighters. And he got King of Fighters, and as far as I can tell, he's enjoying it. But it's just a little confusing to me that this is a point of contention for DNFDuel because King of Fighters in itself does not have a bunch of overheads. Anybody who's played KOF 14, 13, or any KOF at all, you know that not every character has an overhead. The main thing in the game is the characters move pretty fast and they have like several different versions of jumps. They have the short hop, they have the hyper short hop, they have the jump and the hyper jump, which gives them like more distance and things like that and the like. Hops are really good because they basically get you in. It can hit an opponent. If you hop, you can hit an opponent when they're crouching. And there are some characters with overheads, don't get me wrong. I don't know the totality of KOF 15, but I just know KOF traditionally does not have a bunch of overheads. And a bunch of footsie fighters don't have overheads that you can just combo into. There's always like some sort of caveat. But I think that the meta when it comes to DNFDuel is all about the... it's not just about having overheads. Like, there's more to that. Within the clip that he showed, you have Striker doing dive kicks. Striker can mash A off of her dive kick. And the problem with this is she can land and special cancel. It's not a special cancel. It's like an ability cancel because she's the only character that can do this. She can cancel her specials back into her A and B normals. So that means if she lands, she can slide. Or if she's in the air and she so happens to do so, she can mash on A because her dive kick is a special and A is the button that she can mash, right? And B, I think, as well, and a couple of other things. I think she can also mash M. But my point is, this is an overhead. It's a double overhead. It is a mix there. So if you're looking for that type of gameplay, you can get it with Striker. Everybody else has some sort of different nuance to them that requires you to move out of the way. As you can see, unless I put more gameplay up, let me just explain. So when you get hit a certain amount of times with special attacks and MP attacks on DNFDuel, you have white life. And that life is life that you can recover back. So you're getting chipped, but you can recover all of it. But if you get hit with a MP attack, you lose all of that white life. Now, the goal is to not get caught in a combo, and you need to get the other opponent's life down. The way Tanuki Tale explains this, with what he said so far, I think is... maybe he doesn't like the game, and that's completely fine, but I think it's a little off that, overhead is a thing that you have to mention about that, because I think people are, KOing each other pretty fine. So there has to be something other than an overhead that's like making that happen. There are several characters that can conversion cancel. That's when you use your recoverable life to cancel your actions. They can conversion cancel and definitely mix you up with an overhead. First thing that comes to mind besides Striker is Berserker. Berserker has a move where he jumps up into the air. It is his 4S, which he jumps into the air and he slams a sword down onto you. While he's in the air, you can conversion cancel and you can just do an air normal. Or he can do a dive kick, or in this case a dive sword, and he can conversion cancel off of it. You might say, well, you need to have recoverable life. That's fine though. You can have recoverable life with Berserker quite often because his special ability drains him of his life force. It's recoverable until he gets hit by an MP attack, but his life force, his orange life, will just drain down. So he can conversion cancel like no other, right? So that's another character if you're looking for something like that. You could definitely get into. Hell, even Grappler. Grappler is a character in which you can mix your opponent up by either hitting them with a jab and then grabbing them. There's a couple of times during the beta I actually lost a set during the beta, and I couldn't get back at them because we had an error when I started using Kunoichi and started winning, got a perfect and shit. But anyway, yeah, I had a guy. It was like hard to get away from him. I think I could like fight against Grappler better now with the knowledge I have, you know. But Grappler has armor on his moves and he can grab you. So what you want to do is you definitely want to jump out of the way or backdash, or you just want to hit him out of it with a low because he's vulnerable to lows in all of his armored and reversal techniques, right? So he has something, and I think everybody has something is what I'm trying to say. I don't want to go through the whole roster, but everybody has something that adds something unique to the meta of DNF Duel. And I just think that just, you know, closing it into it doesn't have any overheads is a little bit, I don't know what to say about that. But anyway, let's continue.
So even if you're able to cross someone up every now and then, if you catch them holding a direction instead of holding...
I'm sorry, I have to intervene here because he said that Ghostblade seemed to be all about teleporting. Ghostblade does not have a DP, so his teleport that he does is taking the place of a DP. And it can cross you up, but there's more than just crossing you up. You know what I mean? Like, of course you need to hold the guard button when you're fighting against Ghostblade. His normal 6S crosses you up, as far as I know, if you're close enough and not doing a combo. So you definitely need to press the guard button. But here's the thing that I feel like Tanuki Tale isn't really like understanding about Ghostblade. Ghostblade is confusion in general. So Ghostblade has a move called, well, I don't know what it's called because I don't have the move list in front of me, but his 4 MP summons the ghost out. And with the ghost out, the ghost will actually attack 3 times. Between the second and third hit, you can actually grab your opponent. And the opponent can actually strike you. The opponent can roll out. But the thing is, if you get caught rolling by the ghost when he's in front, or, you know, you whiff by hitting the ghost, by hitting the ghost apparition, not the ghost blade. If you hit the ghost apparition, make it disappear, you can be punished. And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's just confusion. He's there to cause confusion. When he does his 6 MP and he sends the ghost upwards and the ghost comes back, you can teleport to the ghost when he's in the air. And when the ghost comes back down, he comes down and then you're coming down at the same time. You can choose to attack. You can choose to just fall down and let them whiff a DP. There's a couple of things going on there that make the ghost really interesting as a character. And I think that not being able to do your cross-up combos with the teleport is a little bit nuts. Especially considering that the recovery on Ghostblade's teleport is super fast. Like, if you guys played it during the beta, you'll see how fast it is. You teleport, you hit the button, and pink, and you're there. You know, you can do a low, you can do a grab. I did it hundreds of times, I'm sure, to people. I would teleport, and I just grab them. Like, when you start teleporting and grabbing them, they start trying to do DPs, they start trying to attack, you know, things like that and the like. So, you know, it may not necessarily get you in, but it's definitely a utility that's worth using. I'm done with that. Let's go.
The block button. At high level, players are going to do whatever's optimal, and what is optimal in this game is holding the block button. So being able to teleport behind your opponent has 0 utility in terms of mixing your opponent up. So again, like I said in the last...
0 utility. By the way, I like to mention that teleports exist in Mortal Kombat, and they definitely still confuse and cause chaos. So, yeah.
Video. I'm trying not to sound like a broken record here, but literally, the only thing that's happening in these matches is you're blocking, and you're just waiting for a block punish or a whiff punish. Literally, the whole meta just involves baiting for whiffs or baiting for...
This is questionable because this sounds like all of fighting games, especially when you're being a defensive player. So I need, like, I don't know, I need a little bit more explanation on that, because I can do that on almost any game if my defense is good enough, and I hope you guys understand. I'm not trying to be a dick. It's just, that sounds like something you can do on KOF. That's a game that he likes, so I don't understand.
For things that are unsafe on block. And it does look cool, but when you're actually playing it, it gets boring so fast. I got super bored of it after about 2 hours again. That was pretty much the same story as last time. The reason it's so boring is because there is nothing to think about when you're playing the game in neutral. All you have to do is block, block, block until you bait a whiff, and then you can do your combo, which is super easy to do in this game. So you're not even worried about dropping the combo.
Not even worried about dropping the combo kind of worries me, because I don't know. I've not seen anything so far in this gameplay. I'm not sure if it's his or not. And please understand, I'm not trying to, like, joke on people, but I'm not seeing anything like close to, like, mid or high level so far. So, like, it's really, like, I don't know if Tanuki Tale just doesn't get the meta or isn't understanding. I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. I'm not trying to be a dick, but, you know, to say that you don't have to think about the combos, if you don't know how DNFDuel works, if you haven't played the beta, so this game really contextualizes, like, how many hits you've done to your opponent, right? So, for instance, I'm trying to bring up a game that would make more sense. Alright, so Guilty Gear. No, not Guilty Gear. Let me do Persona. Is that a good recent one? Persona and Blaze Blue. So in Persona and Blaze Blue, you have your combo starters with some characters and your counter hits. And Under Night and Birth too. And hell, even Melty Blood. Let's use Melty Blood and Under Night and Birth in this example, because they all have this. When you do a combo starter, at the most, you can only do a couple of extra hits, right? So you can't just, start a combo with A, B, C, and then do like an 18-hit combo, and, the full thing hits. You have to start with B instead of A, so you get a specific type of combo, right? And not all combos work like this. There are some combos that give you a lot of room to be creative. And all the games that I mentioned, especially Melty Blood, if you play that, play Melty Blood, everybody. There's a couple of ways that you can go about some combos before the character eventually just recovers and falls out of it. And that's beautiful. That's a beautiful thing about fighting games that I love. In this game, it's kind of turned up. You can't just jab somebody. Like, a lot of the times in some combos, and you'll see it with Berserker, I know for sure, I cannot hit somebody with his 5A and then do 2B and then do 2S, which launches, and then buff him with 5M and then continue the combo. The characters fall out. That is not something that you have to think about a lot in other games. Like, I can't use my lightest move first. You know what I mean? You have to think about it in some combos, but this is a combo I think that's pretty standard. So the fact that I got to think about that and I can't just poke with my light attack, that's something that it sparks thought. And this is for every character. It is not just, some bullshit character. You know what I mean? Like, it's for every character. You have to have specific combo routes and you have to know what they are. So there's that, but we'll continue.
Combo. Obviously, keep in mind that even this beta test did not have training mode. So obviously, whatever you're looking at on screen right now, I'm going to be using B-roll footage from the live stream. Whatever you're looking at right now, it's not going to be optimal combos or anything like that. I know that we're not doing optimal combos because if you try to experiment in a real match, you are going to get blown up and it's going to cost the round. And
see, I don't think that's real, because you can definitely, like, if you guys played the beta, there's not a lot of people that know what they're doing because there's no training mode. I don't think that this dude was getting blown up. If he was, then I had to look back at his stream. But let me see if I can pull up some of my footage. Okay, that was a pain. So we're gonna go and play some more of what he was saying, just so I can get back to where I was.
Just like the last beta test, we were not able to invite friends, which makes sense because they're...
Okay, so he's talking about inviting friends, so obviously he's went to like a different subject, but we're going to look at a little bit of my footage, which is going to be uploaded to my channel soon, but yeah, I'm going to talk over it a little bit. So I play with Ghostblade quite a bit, and I gotta say, Ghostblade is super fun. I don't think that the teleports that he had really hindered anything. As a matter of fact, when I was playing against so many people, I noticed people started to block it, and I had to come up with different things. Like, this was optimal. Like, what I just did was pretty optimal. And you see how I got close to him? He tried to attack, but he couldn't attack because a ghost attacked him first, and I was close. So if he was going to hit the ghost, I was going to punish him with a 5B and then do a 6S. And this game, he said that it's a very dry footsie fighter. I could have did a different combo there, and I should have. Like, now that the beta's done, I realized I should have just 6S'd it. But yeah, I know that this guy might not be like the best player in the world that I'm playing against, but I think that while I was playing against this dude, he actually got better, and he did start to like actually block some of the things that I was doing. But very cautious players are still going to be caught off guard by something, even when they're trying to be defensive. Sometimes they just need to attack, and sometimes they just cannot attack because either being out footsied or outplayed. It's just going to happen. But we're going to go back to my good friend Tanuki Tale, and we're going to see what he has to say.
They're trying to test the connectivity, so they're trying to force you to play against a bunch of opponents from all across the world. So I wasn't really able to easily set up a match with someone from my chat so we could basically treat the game as training mode. All the people I played against were people that were actually trying to kill me. But anyways, my point still stands. The combos in this game just aren't very engaging. One of the reasons, I know I keep bringing up KOF 15, but one of the reasons why the combos in KOF 15 are so fun to do is because whenever you start a combo, whenever you get a hit confirm and try to go into a combo, even when you're doing the combo, it's not just muscle memory. Even when you're doing the combo, you're having to think about things because there are so many different ways to utilize your meter in King of Fighters 15, and you're also gaining meter really fast as you're doing a combo. So whenever you get a hit confirm and you start doing a combo, you have to immediately decide how you are going to spend your meter in said combo, and that will obviously determine what kind of combo you try to do. So anyways, my point is, a game like King of Fighters 15 has so much more mental engagement, and it just makes it where there's always something to improve upon. There's always something I can work on in King of Fighters 15. But after I've played DNFDuel, I feel like I've figured out the whole game after 2 hours. And obviously, I know I can keep getting...
I highly doubt that. The thing is, he's using, as he says, B-roll footage. But as you guys can see, this is not very great gameplay. Like, it would have been better if we seen some gameplay of, like, some very high-level material or something like that. But saying that you have the game figured out and not displaying it is something that is really hurting this right here. I'm seeing a lot of counters. I'm seeing a lot of hits from like very obvious tells. Not trying to shit on his abilities, because there's some people that just when they don't feel a game, they don't feel like trying. This is kind of like what it looks like. I've fought against people like that, and it's not the most fun thing to fight against because it's a little bit ridiculous. But as he was saying right there, he said that there are no combos, right? Is that what he was saying? No, he was saying that the combos aren't that interesting, and in KOF you have to spend meter, which is, it's funny that he mentions that you got to spend meter, and every MP attack you use spends a certain amount of meter, and you have to like think about your conversion and how much meter that's going to net you back. When you do a conversion cancel on this game, what happens is you get a certain amount of meter back. And I'm going to actually fill this in with a little bit of my gameplay while I'm talking here, just so, it's not just, just that. So there's a certain amount of meter you get. As you can see right there, I can no longer do a special move. My character is exhausted, and I have to fill up the meter. It's a whole push and pull thing, And this guy, he's not really doing the combos. He learns how to do combos later on, I promise you. But as you can see, I can't do everything I want. There's a move that Ghostblade has that goes across screen that starts a full combo. It leaves the character that you fight in crumple state, meaning you can just do any free combo you want. But guess what? It takes so much of his meter starting out, and you only get more meter as time goes on. As you guys can see, Grappler has 200% meter, and we start off with 100. You get more meter as time goes on. So you have to keep that in mind. Saying that you don't have to think about anything, that's a little nuts. Like, I just had to think about jumping because if I tried to attack with anything but a low, I was going to get grabbed, and things like that So saying that you don't have to think about anything, like that right there, I teleported backwards. That's something that you can use to fake somebody out. And that combo right there was totally improvised. So I don't understand where there's no combos and you don't have to think about it comes from. I'm not trying to be super defensive. It's just, it seems like that Tanuki Tale did not touch where this game was trying to lead him, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. But yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. You gotta really display your capabilities before you just say, oh, I figured it out. Like, don't just say you figured it out and then, you know what I mean? Like, you show us something that shows us, the contradiction.
Getting better, but just in terms of a fun standpoint, it gets so boring. So anyways, in short,
I also like to add KOF's combos are not that interesting because they're very similar. For what people disliked about Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, having the same corner combo, KOF is practically the same mid-screen combo. You jump in and you get heavy kick, and I like KOF and I like Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, but if we're going to be real here, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a jumping heavy kick to get in and start a combo. And that combo is going to start with any of the normals that go into your command normal. Every character has a command normal. Every character has that command normal, and they're going to cancel into max mode, and then they're going to start doing EX attacks, and then they're going to start doing supers multiple times depending on how much meter they have. You do have to think in KOF. That I'm not taking away from that, but to say that the combos are all the same in this game, and then you go to KOF and you're like trying to desperately get into max mode, to finish people off, or picking Terry and just having a ball and killing people, that's a little off. Let's continue.
My point is that they should remove the block button, because if they remove the block button, that would allow for cross-ups. And not only should they remove the block button, but they should get...
I'm sorry, was I muted that whole time? What I was saying was, yeah, I think that... God damn it, I'm going to have to edit that. What I was saying was, I think that, saying that, there's no usage in the meter is a little off and a little ridiculous, considering that you need meter to like do any attack, any MP attack, and you get meter as everything escalates. Like, you lose more life, you get more meter, and in KOF they have a lot of the same combos in there, so it's really weird that you had mentioned that, because a lot of the times in KOF, the best case scenario, you get a jumping heavy kick, you land and do a heavy normal, and if it permits, you can do a command normal, go to max mode, do 3 supers. You know what I mean? That's really what you do in KOF. That's why I stopped playing the demo or the beta so much. But that's what I was saying. Hopefully, I'm going to go back and edit this, hopefully, so you didn't have to see all that dead air. Anyway, let's continue.
Every character a grounded overhead, which leads to combos. That would automatically make the game 10 times more fun. I'm not even kidding.
I don't understand the whole grounded overhead thing. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? There are characters in Street Fighter that don't have overheads that lead into shit. You know that? Unless you have like V-Trigger. So it's really odd that, you know, we keep coming to this point. I don't like it.
I would not be surprised if they end up doing that down the road. This is probably going to be my last DNF related video unless they do some kind of drastic change. But I would not be too surprised if they did implement my feedback. They had a feedback survey, and I and removed the block button. Bam. I don't like the amount of pushback you get whenever you block an attack. This could just be biased because I was playing the Grappler, and the Grappler has really short range compared to all these other characters with special moves that fill up the entire screen. I'm not even exaggerating.
Okay, so he's having a problem that I had with the first beta. Let me show you guys a clip from my YouTube channel, actually. Give me 1 second. Okay, as you can see, the name of this video is called Grappler is Top 5 Material. So, let's watch it, shall we? I'm gonna put it on mute so you don't hear my commentary. Look at this. Look how fast his guard gauge is going down. Keep in mind, I'm not doing anything super optimal. Well, this is. Well, no, it wasn't. I could have did something else. I was testing this. Okay, so Ghostblade, he does not have a DP, so he has to suffer that. All right, he has to suffer and sit through that. But he could have did several things. He could have jumped back and, you know, possibly gotten hit. He could have like did a load to me, but I could have grabbed him. There's so many options there, and it's just really disingenuous that, you know, he's like, oh, he has short range. Like, he has short range, but look how strong he is. I touched him like 3 times. Okay, he's done for. You know, Grappler is not a weak character. I think he's top 5 material. So, you know, that's just me. But I just wanted to show you guys that. I'm getting lost in my recordings now. Let's just continue.
Be a lot. It would definitely make some of these matchups much less polarizing if they were to decrease the amount of pushback distance. Because as someone like Grappler, you have to work so hard getting up in someone's face, and then they do this giant, obnoxious special move, and it pushes you so far away, and you have to work so hard to get back in.
You don't have to work that hard, homie. He has armor on, like, a bunch of his moves, and not only that, but the only thing that can go through the armor is low attacks, which not a lot of people have very far-reaching lows. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video. I've gone on too long. I think he's voiced most of his complaints, and I just wanted to show you guys that I don't think that they're based in a place where he got to know the game very well at all, you know? It just seems like he, on the surface level, just doesn't like it, and that's completely fine. But I just want to throw my 2 cents in as somebody who watches this video as a fellow fighting game content creator, and really just had to like say something because I think it is a little misleading, not intentionally, on how good or bad the game is. Honestly, if you want my 2 cents, I think that they should buff the guard meter because there's several characters that can break your guard within 1 string. If you guess wrong and roll, you're just going to have a lot of recoverable life taken away from you. Those are things that I think need to be buffed. Or like, you know, maybe nerf how much damage, guard stamina damage, some of the crazy moves do, so you don't get your guard broken as much. You know, that stuff like that, I think that's really constructive. But I don't think a lot of what in here was constructive besides saying that they should move better. Grappler is a really strong character, and I just don't think he got to know the game very well. But that's it for me. I'll catch you guys later. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hell, if you liked his video, give his video a like and subscribe to him.